feel like I'm blending into the couch right now.
Yeah, actually, so funny thing that you mentioned that in post, whenever I do the thumbnail, whenever someone wears black, you get like a floating head. Because I don't myself have...
I have a bit of color.
Yeah, so you're probably going to be like... It's going to look like your body is the red.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Actually, from here, looking in the camera, it kind of looks like that. Doesn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
That doesn't look right. That looks like
if I pick up my hands, they just look
it's like
separated.
Jazz hands, floating jazz hands. All right, awesome. So today we have Kelly. We've spoken about you on the podcast before, a couple times, especially when Mike is on. Obviously, This is Mike's girlfriend, longtime family member. I would say I've known you since I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
So it's been a hot ass minute, and we've really grown closer in the past 7 years. 6 years?
Yeah,
7 years.
7, yeah.
7 years. Because obviously you started dating Mike, and then it was just a perfect, like, I would say, union, I guess, between like the friend group that you had at the time with our friend group, and then it just continued on, obviously, because you and Mike's relationship is so good. It continued, and then now it's like you're just like a cornerstone person in my life and in everybody else's life in the friend group. So it's sick to have you on. Mike was supposed to be here. Potentially would be here later. We'll see. But the main reason why I wanted to have you on is because you accomplished something. Where's the bottle of champagne?
Sorry.
It is literally, by the way, Sunday at 11:30 in the morning. Yep. So this is like, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, but brunch times for Sunday. We got to pop this bitch because you fucking completed the New York City 2022 marathon.
Yeah.
Like the full fucking 26.2 miles. Your ass ran. Without taking a break. That's running.
Walking
That's
counts. Running. Walking is a bit of a break.
Walking, you can't walk a marathon. I don't think, like, if you walk a marathon, that's like half-assing it.
Well,
and this is me saying this.
You would just take a while, but you still, like, especially during the water stations, like, you have to walk.
Well, no, yeah, that is because you can't just sprint through and grab the cup, right?
Yeah, but it gets slippery.
Oh, because people spill their shit?
Oh, yeah.
So this is the nuances, the little details that I'm going to pick your brain about, because I'm actually so curious as to like the entire process of a marathon. I would say your quote unquote journey started. Actually, before we get into that, let's just pop the bottle.
Okay. I really hope this doesn't explode on me.
You got it.
I'm so nervous.
Just wiggle it a little bit. Oh my God. It's good.
I know it's coming.
Oh, okay, that was perfect. There we go. Congratulations, Kelly, on completing the 2022 New York City Marathon. This is gonna be your cup because we have like the same amount of orange juice. Okay, you should get the first cup since you're the victor, the champion,
the participant.
Nah, champion, dude. That shit's crazy. Like, I was supposed to actually be in attendance to cheer you on, but instead I wasted my time and went to a dump of a city. We'll get into that later if we want to, but yeah. So you ran. Cheers.
Perfect.
I'm on an empty stomach. That is a good mimosa. Damn. And that's Minute Maid. That's not like Tropicana.
Nope, Minute Maid.
That's some good shit.
Hey, so get some extra vitamins.
Let me see. Let me turn this real quick because I have the questions pulled up here somewhere in my notes.
Sounds good.
So you literally... All right. So what made you decide... First of all, let's start with this. You started training for this marathon, like your whole journey and process to actually complete this thing started when?
Technically in 2020.
So 2 years ago.
Yeah, because I had originally signed up for the marathon in 2020 and then COVID hit. So I got about, I think, 2 or 3 weeks into training for that marathon. And then we got the email saying it was canceled.
So you're supposed to run the 2020 marathon?
Yeah.
And what month did you start training for that end of the year marathon?
You start training in June, like mid-June.
That seems kind of, I guess because I know that you've been training for 2 years, that seems kind of short.
So the thing is, I haven't been training consistently during the 2 years. I just started the running back in 2020. And then once they said that, it's canceled, they gave us the option to pick between getting the entry into 21, 22, or 23. I picked 22 just in case, like, COVID was still going on in 21, and then it got canceled again.
It did get canceled again?
No, it didn't. But it was held at like limited capacity, so they didn't have the full like 50,000 people running. I think they had 35.
Okay.
So like still a whole bunch of people, but I was also nervous about like the spectators because the fans are a huge part of the environment of the marathon. Like New York, exactly. And New York is known for that. So I was like, if the spectators don't come out because of COVID, like that's kind of going to suck. Yeah. So I pushed it back the extra year. So instead of running for the full 2 years, I started to do I started weight training essentially.
Is that when you started CrossFit or more just weights, like doing more?
So I did weights on my own for about 8 months and then I joined CrossFit.
Okay. You know, the funny thing is that you point out that whole spectator like thing is that's really true because I would imagine if you're running without anybody cheering you on, it's literally like at that point you're just running to run.
Yeah, which sucks.
Yeah, like that's like that kind of seems like it's ass because then you're running in like empty New York City streets and then it doesn't seem as grand as like it is in reality. I mean, it's like a huge event.
Well, that's the thing with the training. Like you still have to do those longer runs and you don't have the fans cheering you on. No one knows you're doing anything. Yeah. They just might pass you on the road, but they don't think anything of it.
Yeah, they just think you're on a run.
Exactly. So like the 20 miles, like I did 20 miles the week or two before, and that was tough because, you know, I'm just running around town trying to make 20 miles without having to go ridiculously far and then turn around. So I'm trying to create like mini paths where I go a certain distance, then turn around, come back, go a different way, turn around, come back, and then just keeping it interesting. But again, like no one's cheering you on.
Yeah, that's just all self-dedication and like goal achievement and all that good stuff. What actually, before we get into your actual training regimen, what was like the reason that you decided to run this marathon? Like what's the actual, like what's your mindset and motivation going into it? Like, because this is a big thing. Like do you have to pay to sign up?
So there's a couple different ways that you can gain entry. I did it through a charity. So I had to fundraise money for the charity. You have to raise a certain amount and then you run the marathon. But if you're like really intense about it, you can qualify. If you are a part of New York Roadrunners, you can do like the 9+1 program. So like you run 9 of the races that New York Roadrunners holds during the year and then you'll get entry into the marathon.
They have other races like that aren't long as the marathon?
Yeah, they have a million races. They have so many races. Is the half
marathon that you ran a part of that like series or no?
That was a different one. So New York Roadrunners has a half marathon in March typically. I did the Brooklyn half in April. So that's not New York Roadrunners.
Is that just because it's in Brooklyn or like
no, I think that it's a different running group. I think it's NYC Runs.
Okay.
So similar, but it's different.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. So what was the reason, if you had to pinpoint one? I know it's like a really hard question, but...
Well, no, it's not. It's just a really stupid answer. My family friend had ran it in 2019, and he didn't, you know, we were kind of making fun of his time because he seemed like he was going really slow, and he went slow because he didn't train like at all for it. So we were kind of joking around, and then I was like, you know what? I can't say anything because I didn't run a marathon. Like, he still did something that I didn't do. So, like,
did he say this to you, or did you just point this out to yourself? You're like, oh, like, I shouldn't be talking because I didn't do it?
No, I pointed that out to myself.
You're fucking crazy. You're so crazy because for you to actually have that self-awareness and be like, you know what? Basically, it was like, I'm roasting you. Hold on. Let me go valid. Prove that I can actually do this, and I'm going to roast your ass even more.
Essentially.
What was his time that you guys were saying that it was like slow?
I think it was right around 6 hours, which is funny because that's about the time that I finished this year.
See, but the thing, so is he your cousin, right? You said cousin? Or
no, he's just a family friend.
So family friend. Is he like in really good shape?
No.
So he just decided to just do this on a whim.
So he's my uncle's friend. So he's a little bit older. He's probably about 55. I'm probably a little younger than that. But him and a few of his friends that, again, are close family friends, they all did it together.
Oh, so it was like a whole group thing?
So it was like a group thing.
I would never fucking... If our friend group, for whatever fucking reason, was like, let's run the New York City Marathon, I would be like, you can suck my ass. Like, I am not signing myself up for that. So your reason behind that was just so you can put your money on the table, bet on yourself, and say, like, I can do this too, which is awesome.
Well, it's a petty reason.
It's not really... I would say I guess it is and it isn't, right? Because the fact that you had that self-awareness and it's like you took a step back, it's not like you were actually doing it to roast him, but it's like cool that you were like, let me actually see, like, what would mine be? Like, that curiosity, and then you actually carried it out.
Well, so that's the thing. That's the reason why I signed up. But the reason I really kept going with it was because I knew a lot of people didn't think I could do it. Because the thing is, back in college, and especially during COVID, like, I gained a whole bunch of weight. I wasn't working out. Like, I was an athlete in high school. Mm-hmm. And that just completely dropped off in college. I was really focused on my studies that I didn't work out. I didn't take care of myself. Mm-hmm. So, you know, coming from someone who's probably 25 pounds heavier, saying, oh, I'm going to run a marathon. People are like, yeah, okay. So even like coming kind of from my mom, she had a lot of doubts that I'd be able to do this. And even my senior quote in high school was like, the greatest pleasure in life is doing something that people say you can't do. So I was like, you know what? At that point, if people don't think I can do it, like, I'm gonna freaking do it.
That's fucking awesome. That's awesome, because you were just like, I'm gonna bring this shit to the end. I'm gonna cross the finish line and prove all you fuckers wrong.
Yeah.
I will note that I don't think you were overweight, but I definitely have noticed that, like, since you started training, it's like night and day difference.
Yeah.
And also, I think, like, the fact that your family, I would say your family's, especially your mom, is, like, in really good shape.
Yeah, definitely.
So I can see her saying, like, okay, I don't know if you are going to be able to do this, but then the fact that you just, like, carried it through, because it's, like, one thing to say it and then drop it off after 2-3 months. Like, that's probably what most people, I know for a fact that's what I would do. Like, I wouldn't have that intensity that you have and that dedication, but you fucking set your mind to it. What was your, like, so your motivation was to prove people wrong, but did you just constantly remind yourself of that throughout the 2 years that you were training for this entire event?
So the kind of thing was, especially starting like the quote unquote weight loss journey, it wasn't really about weight loss. It was just about like getting into healthier habits.
Okay.
So I think the mindset was really kind of what kept me going. And I think it was also a matter of like, people start somewhere. Everyone has a starting point. So like, at least I, especially having kind of been on the way of closing the book of grad school, I was like, I don't have an excuse anymore. My studies are done. I've put that first for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
What else is there now? Like, so I don't have an excuse, so just do it. Nike.
That's fucking crazy. No, Nike, y'all should sponsor. Yo, that's fucking crazy. I can't believe that you held that, like, school of thought, that dedication for 2 years. Like, that really does blow my mind, because, and you're gonna say, oh, it's not really technically 2 years because you took like gaps, I guess, like breaks.
It's more just like after a certain point, it stops becoming a thought and it's just a habit. Like, it literally
a lifestyle change.
Yeah, because I think they say it takes 30 days to form a habit. So at that point, it was less about like, oh, I have to find time to go to the gym today. It was just, all right, so, you know, I have work, then I have to go to the gym, and then I'll have dinner. And it was just, I didn't even think about it being in my schedule. It was just a part of my routine.
See, that's crazy. Okay, so I know that that's like a saying, 30 days to form a habit. But the thing is like, at no point you were saying like, all right, like, you might have formed the habit, but you didn't want to break it.
Yeah.
So you did want to break it.
No, I needed to keep it. Like, because you notice other things. Like, again, part of the whole gaining weight process was also like being in a really bad headspace. So falling kind of into a depression, not really wanting to go outside, just being stuck in my room all the time. So like forcing myself to go to the gym, really, you see the difference in your mentality. You see the difference, how much like more positive you can get.
So you felt your headspace was clearing up. You're in a better mood, positive mindset.
And like Mike and my mom both were like, they could see the difference.
Night and day difference. And this is since you started doing more cardio, intense workouts, sticking to a dedicated routine, doing all this stuff, and eating healthier as well, probably, right? Yeah. What's like the number one thing that you cut out of your diet to like optimize your body for like running this whole thing? If you had to pinpoint one.
I didn't cut anything out of my diet. Like I still feel like I kept a very consistent diet. The biggest thing I would say like was just not eating more home cooked meals. So it's not cutting anything out. It's just, you know, going out to eat is, especially Mike and I, is one of our favorite things to do.
Yeah, of course.
So, and of course, what do they come out when you go out to eat? Bread.
Freaking
love bread. Butter.
And
all
like
of it.
all that shit has like a bunch of oils.
Carbs galore.
And yeah.
So
calories upon calories.
Exactly. So like the little small things that they put on the table that you don't even realize have all the calories you're eating. So I tried to limit how much I went out to eat. And the biggest thing was like portion control. Like when I was in college, I used to literally make a half a box of pasta for myself. And because that would just be my dinner. Like I wouldn't have protein.
You say that, but I feel like that's not enough. No,
seriously. No, I'm not exaggerating. Like,
no, but I feel like half a box of pasta is not that much. But that's like, I'm a fat ass, so like I'm a glutton. I eat OD.
But you're 6'3.5", 6'4".
Yeah.
Okay, I am 5'6". I should not be eating a half a box of pasta.
You really, I'm trying to imagine what half a box of pasta looks like. I feel like it can't be that much, but I mean, if you're saying it, and then you're saying that you limited it, you changed it, and you saw the 9-day difference, I guess it is, right?
Because the thing is, when you look at the serving size.
On the box.
It's
like, what, 1/8 of the fucking container? It's 2
ounces, which is literally, like,
I hate when companies do that.
If you have spaghetti, and you put them all in your hand, it's literally... The amount of spaghetti that you could fit in this hole would be 2 ounces. You're saying like
the straight raw noodles? The
straight raw noodles.
So it fills this hole, and then that is 2 ounces of pasta. Who the fuck is going to eat? That's like 4 spaghetti strands.
I started eating that.
You're saying you started eating that?
My mom has a weighing thing.
Like a food scale?
Yeah, our food scale.
And you weren't like starving in a cranky mood afterwards because you're like hungry?
So, the thing, you kind of have to be a little more careful. So... trying to eat a little slower will help your body register when you're full, or drinking more water, like, or just literally trying to adjust your stomach, because the thing is, I would eat until the point where I'm like so stuffed that I feel like I'm gonna vomit. So it was getting to the point of, I'm satisfied, I'm not full, but I'm satisfied, I should stop.
So satisfaction versus complete and utter just like, like you're stuffed.
Yeah.
So that was a conscious decision you made? Like that switch, that brain switch, like I'm going to eat slower to do, to get to the point where I'm satisfied, rather than just being like, oh, like that. That's not something that you just kind of like.
So it was also like, you kind of start to notice things. So like, I felt like I had really bad gut health as well. Okay. Like I had a lot of acid reflux.
Okay.
Like I was burping up a lot, which is really gross, but like you kind of don't acknowledge it because, the food tastes so good. Like, you just love food that you kind of you kind of just dealt with it.
Yeah, of course.
It got to the point where I was like, it's not worth it anymore. Like, why am I going to put myself through that to then feel so sick afterwards, where then it affects my training? So it's all just kind of tied together.
I'm laughing because I kind of get what you're saying with last night, what happened with Hometown Barbecue.
Yeah.
But then you also were kind of right, where it's like, this shit's going to pass and then you're going to want to try it again. And like,
yeah, exactly.
Because then now it's like, okay, so for context, last night me and Hannah went to Brooklyn because we had to do a bunch of like apartment hunting, because we're actually like looking to move out relatively soon. And we went to try this restaurant that's like super famous, and I think the guy either put too much salt, or we also didn't eat. So it's like, like the first meal of the day, if it's not something super bland and like safe, like egg whites and whatever.
Yeah.
Cheerios or like Wheaties or something. It's like that. It's going to hit your stomach pretty hard. And we had like really fatty barbecue with a lot of like just dripping in meat juice.
Yeah.
So when we ate it, I don't know why it took as long as it did. Probably because I have like a slower metabolism. Maybe is that what it reflects? But we had it around like 2:30. At 10 when I saw you guys.
Yeah.
My stomach was fucked up. And I was telling them, I'm like, yo, this shit's like horrible, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, it's going to pass and you're going to want to try it again. And I'm like, no way. And then this morning I woke up, I'm like, I feel bad that I don't like Hometown Barbecue as much, because it is a really good spot.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Yeah, I get what you're saying with that. Okay, so you made your switch. Your mentality is now you're like dialed in, you train, right? While training, did you sustain any major injuries or like setbacks, or was it all like pretty like you had a plan, it was calculated, and you executed like pretty much perfectly?
So there were some hiccups. The main thing, like, so I went on 2 vacations. So I went to Italy for a week, or a little over a week, and I went to Ireland for a little over a week during what it would be the training period. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I don't like running in places I don't know, because safety, especially as a woman, you can never be too safe.
Yeah, of course.
And not only that, but also just as a runner, you don't know what the roads are going to be like, how crazy the drivers are going to be.
You're going to get lost potentially.
You're going to get lost.
Yeah.
And especially internationally, like if your like Wi-Fi or if your data like screws you over and you can't get GPS to work,
then you're just fucked.
You're screwed. Like I will be lost.
That's a really smart point. That's a really smart point.
I'll be a little American girl going up to
an Italian person
and being like, hi.
They're just gonna be like, andiamo, but like over there that way.
The only thing I would know to say is be like, ayúdame.
That's crazy. So you didn't, but I mean, you're on vacation. All right, let me ask you this. So those were like your hiccups, right? But did you notice like if you didn't run, you took a week off?
Getting back to it was a little bit harder.
So there was like a noticeable difference in performance?
Yeah,
That's crazy that a week is not that much time.
It's not, but it's not only just the running, it's also the food. Because, I mean, Italy, fantastic food, and it's so clean. But it's still like you're eating out every day.
You were saying
for
actually
8 days.
You were saying actually on that note that Italy's pasta for whatever reason wasn't like that bloating feel you get.
No, it was fantastic.
I want to go to Italy.
It was so good. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
I want to go to fucking Italy now.
So good.
So you did but you didn't sustain any injuries or anything like that?
So then the only other 2 hiccups were, so every year, you know, I get my cough. Like
yeah.
It is essentially allergies that turns into like bronchitis. So I get that literally every fall. Right around September, October. And so the cough came and that messes with my lungs horrifically.
And you can't run if your lungs
exactly.
are fucked up.
So the thing is, like, after I got on the antibiotics, the cough was starting to clear up. But that was right before Ireland. I was like, I can't just take 2 weeks off back to back. So I did one more long run before Ireland. I think I did 10 miles.
While having a little bit of that lingering cough still there.
But the thing, I loaded up on the albuterol, my inhaler. I was literally taking 4 puffs before the run.
And then you just went on the fucking run.
Yeah.
You feel like Superman, low-key. Her and I are both like asthmatics. When you take a hit of albuterol, when you're like, I guess when you have like a little bit of like a wheeze.
Yeah.
And then right afterwards, you feel
you're
like yeah, you're like, holy shit, I can breathe again. Like, what the fuck? I'm unstoppable. And then you just start doing like, So that's crazy. You loaded up and then you started sprinting. So I cut you off. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I wasn't sprinting. I took it slow on purpose because I knew like I didn't want to mess with any. And that actually, it wasn't horrible. I was very surprised with that, but I was nervous. And I had taken that week off from still kind of recovering from the cough / having the cough.
Yeah.
The only other injury I'd sustained was literally like a week or 2 before the marathon during the 20-mile run.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt something in my left knee like go.
This is 2 weeks out from the actual.
Yeah.
I
think it was 1 week out.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Was it lingering after the race too?
Yeah.
Like so what did you do to like remedy that?
So it was lingering for a couple days after that run.
That's fucked.
I kept icing. The biggest thing was stretching. So I felt like, because I've had knee pain in the past, it's like an iliotibial band thing.
Okay.
So my iliotibial band gets tight. It kind of pulls my knee out of place, which causes the knee pain. But because I know that feeling, I was like, it doesn't feel like that. But I bet it's because my muscles are tight. I just really need to stretch it out. So I was super focused the week before the marathon was just stretching.
So just increasing your elasticity in your muscles and...
Yeah, so rolling out on a foam roller.
So when you say like, so your knee, this is interesting. So your knee was fucked up. And then when you said stretching, I was confused because I'm like, how do you stretch a knee? Because it's a joint. But so you're saying you have to relieve the tension points above and below the knee? So
it's less about below. It's more about the above. So it's kind of dealing with the side of your quad.
How do you stretch that?
You roll it. That's the biggest thing. And then you also, the other thing that I found to help, you get like a band or like a belt or something, and you have a little belt loop go around your foot, and you're lying back, and you take the belt and you lift your leg up and you just hold it there. That'll get your hamstrings, and then you'll bring it out to the side and it'll kind of get the inside, and then you bring it on the inside, and when you bring it on the back, it's the outside.
Okay. So that's why a lot of the gym times at the gym, actually, I saw you were mostly just stretching for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's really time consuming, which is really freaking annoying.
Did it hurt though?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I would imagine rolling especially when you have like inflammation, when it's like it's like painful.
Yeah.
And you go and do all that.
You're
that's
like breaking
not gonna,
a sweat.
Yeah,
Like,
that fucking sounds miserable.
Yeah, it's horrible because it's like you're not even. You're doing something, but you're really not.
You're not active.
And to be in that pain and to literally kind of like have it take your breath away, you're like, this sucks.
For 30 fucking minutes. How often did you do that? Like every day? In that week span when you were like focusing before the marathon.
So at that point, I would just put on the TV.
And I'd do it while you were watching the TV for 30 minutes.
Probably for an hour and a half. Stretching
for an hour and a half to that level of like discomfort. What the fuck?
Well, obviously I wouldn't do the one exercise for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I do multiple things, but I stretch.
But it's still like just that discomfort. You're just like, all right, like this is kind of part of the process. I'm actually really surprised that you didn't at any point get any type of injury besides like that knee pain.
Well, because I wasn't running to win. I was literally running to say I ran it. So I'm not trying to sprint. I'm not trying to cross the finish line in first place. I'm literally just trying to do it. So it's about being like running smarter instead of harder. Like I'm just trying to keep my energy. I'm not trying to hurt myself.
But I would argue that just completing it is winning, because that's not even like a participation trophy. No, it's like 26.2 miles. Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the fact that like you have to, because I can barely right now run 1 mile. Like I'm being dead ass, right? And I think most people are like me in that sense, where like they can't run, especially Americans. For the barbecue doesn't help, especially the type that I had yesterday. But like we can't fucking run like a mile all willy nilly like that.
Yeah.
So to run 26.2 of them, that's crazy, right? So you're training, you're putting your body under tremendous amounts of stress, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I'm surprised that just training for such a crazy event like that you didn't sustain some type of injury. Because I would think like if you're training to do that, there has to be at some point, especially over 2 years.
Yeah.
That's a long period of time.
That's the thing. So again, I started running June of 2020. I didn't start, I think I started actively trying to lose weight actually, there's a woman in town. Mm-hmm. She has like these boot camps that she has twice a week. We would meet at the GAA fields. She'd have like all this equipment out, and that was my first like, let me start working out. Mm-hmm. Easing into it. It was just 2 times a week, and I started that in April of 2020. Then I tried to start the running in June. So again, keep in mind, I'm 25 pounds heavier. Then the running, I stopped running when it got canceled. I've just focused on the weight training. By the time I started back up running, I was 25 pounds lighter. A mixture of losing weight, gaining a bit of muscle. Running was just significantly easier.
That makes sense. Your body's more primed to do that, right?
Exactly. So if I was running, I think I got up to 6 miles, which again, I had never done before because I'm not a runner. In high school, I was an athlete that hated doing the track workouts on Saturday or Sunday mornings. Hated it.
Yeah, but you say you're not a runner, but you just ran 26.2 fucking miles,
Yeah,
Kelly.
But I feel like runners enjoy running. I don't enjoy running.
Yeah, but those are like they're just weird. I think those people are fucking weird. There's something wrong with those people. Like your uncle, no offense.
Oh, yeah, no, crazy.
Her uncle is a wild man.
Yeah.
Like this guy runs marathons, I would say is like a practice. Like on a regular basis, he runs marathons.
So he did the New York City one with me last, however many weeks ago it was now.
Last weekend.
Was it?
Yeah. Oh, November 6th.
Okay. Yeah. So he's done several marathons before that, but it was one of the hottest marathons in history. So
70 something degrees, I remember you
73
saying. And like 90%
humid. Yeah. It was humid as hell.
That's dangerous.
A lot of people collapsed. The guy who was leading the pack collapsed at mile 21.
That fucking sucks because you run 21 miles and you're about to be like crossing first place and then you passed out.
I don't know. I wasn't present. I was in the background.
But you heard it. You heard about it when you finished?
Yeah, it was in the paper too.
That's crazy. That's very scary.
A lot of people were collapsing. A lot of people were pulling off to the side to like stretch out muscle cramps because it was so humid. Like water was just being pulled out of our bodies.
Yeah.
Like a lot of dehydration was happening. I saw these spectators who literally had a sign that said free massage gun, and they brought their massage gun. People were running over using it, trying to
alleviate
loosen
the
up.
cramps and
Yeah,
stuff?
like especially in the quads, the hamstrings, the calves, anything.
Jesus Christ. Did you get that? Did you get cramps like while you were running the race?
Not really.
That's surprising.
Because I was going slow. Because again, I'd just gotten the knee injury a week before.
Yeah, so you didn't want to like fuck something up.
Concerned that my knee was going to give out, and it did. Really early on at mile 6.4, I remember distinctly, I felt it, and I was like, "Fuck."
6.4, you feel a little tweak or something in your knee.
It wasn't even a little like it was. It took my breath away, and I was like, "Ow, that hurt."
Like like your foot landed on your left side, and then it was kind of like a jolting pain.
I don't know if it was the landing, because what was hurting it wasn't a weight bearing issue. It was a
explosive, like moving off of it. Extension. Like
kind of an extension. Just the motion of like, let's say it's when you're walking, your leg is in the back and you're pulling it forward. That bending motion.
Like the weight moving, shifting from under to forward, like that rocking, like this
motion. The rocking motion.
Okay.
So that was killing it. So, and especially, it was really hot and humid. You had to be very cautious about how much water you were drinking. Mm-hmm. And so they were pretty much telling everyone, like, stop at every water station. You need to drink water.
Okay.
So I would stop at the water stations. I would drink the water, and starting back up again, like, nearly in tears. It was excruciating pain. So you just kind of had to get started again, and then I guess getting started allowed it to loosen up a little bit.
Okay.
So it didn't hurt as much just finally being in the running motion, because when I started to walk then, it was bothering me a little bit, and then just starting back up again. It was horrible.
That is crazy. I can't believe that. Yeah. I feel like most people would just quit, but you just have this thing about you. You're just like insanely dedicated. So now you've trained for all this time.
Yeah.
It's the day before the marathon. I want to start there. What did you eat? Did you do like the traditional really big bowl of pasta before the meal? Because I know like a lot lot of runners apparently do that. Because you did?
I have no idea.
You don't remember what you ate before the marathon?
I have no idea.
Wait, what?
I was literally so anxious that like that whole day, I have no idea.
So you were no the day. You're saying the day before?
The day before, I was so anxious. I have no idea what happened.
When you get
I have
anxious,
no recollection.
So like when I get anxious, I get like I feel cold, and I feel it like a ice ball in my like core, like in like the center of my body.
Yeah.
Is that what
like
you get?
You kind of shiver a bit.
Yeah. So that's what you get when you get anxious?
I get in two places. I'll feel like an elephant is literally standing on my chest.
Okay.
Or I'll get it in my stomach. So I'll just feel not even queasy, like not nauseous, but I'm literally just
uneasy.
Just uneasy. Like loss of appetite, like can't do anything.
That's not good, especially for before a fucking marathon.
And so the morning of, I brought a bag of Cheerios because shout out Honey Nut Cheerios.
Another sponsor that you guys gotta hit up for her next marathon.
So
sponsored by Honey Nut Cheerios.
They fueled me the morning of because my wave didn't leave until 11 a.m.
So, there's different waves, right? When's the earliest portion of people?
You have like the elite runners, the people who are sponsored, the people who are running it to win money. Mm-hmm. Before them, you have the people with disabilities. So I think they have like a wheelchair division for both men and women.
So people in wheelchairs are doing this shit?
Yeah. Oh my God. You should have seen them. So we actually had, I don't know how early they left, because when you're chilling in the pavilion the morning of, they have a TV up where you can watch the live broadcast of the marathon. So I saw the woman who won the wheelchair division.
Were her arms just
she
fucking...
was built.
Yeah, because I was going to say,
it was so impressive.
You got to be like, your shoulders must just look like you fucking press 300
wild.
pounds.
She was...
So she's just... These people are just
fantastic.
like fucking bulldogs. Like they're...
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. I'm not even trying to be funny here. I did not think they had like a disabled wave. And I'm really surprised to find out that they come second. I would have thought that they would have put them last because...
No, they come first.
The disabled... wave goes first? They're the first ones to leave?
Yeah, they go super early. She finished before I was even remotely close to starting.
So they start at what, like 6 a.m.?
Probably.
5 a.m.?
Because they give them the course because, again, as the day goes on, especially at the water stations, you're picking up water. What do you do with the water cups? You throw it off to the side. Mm-hmm. That's such a hazard for people in the special racing wheelchairs.
Yeah, that makes sense. Were they they're not normal wheelchairs, right? They're the ones with the wheels kind of slanted out?
Yeah, and they're kind of in like a triangle.
Aerodynamics?
Yeah, so
they
go out first, then the elite women go out, and then the elite men go out, and then the wave one, so people like my uncle who are really fast but aren't sponsored, they go out in the last part of wave one at 9:10.
So you went out at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
So you don't remember what you had the day before to eat? Oh my God, that's crazy.
I have no recollection. The only thing I remember doing the day before was just kind of going through my checklist of like what I needed to have ready for the morning of. So like I obviously have my outfit plan for the day, just the stuff that I've worn during training that I know is comfortable, that I know won't cause any sort of chafing or rashes or anything.
Yep.
That I can guarantee I know I'll be comfortable during that day. I have special running socks to kind of help with
compression.
Not compression, because I used compression socks for the half, and I didn't really feel like they did much. Okay. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that again. They just kind of were special socks in terms of like they protected your ankles from your shoes, so there was no rubbing. They help prevent against. So they were thicker
around the ankles.
They were thicker around the ankle. They help prevent against blisters, different things like that. Okay. They even have like special kind of padding right at like the ball of your foot.
Oh, okay. So it's like a cushion.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. So it's a little extra cushion. So I had those special socks. I had to get my sneakers together. I put my bib on my shirt. I got together like my gels, or the little jelly beans that I was eating during the race.
I was gonna ask you about that, but we'll get to that.
Then I like put Vaseline on certain parts of my body to again ensure that there was no.
The day before?
No, that's what I was getting ready.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I put the Vaseline on my counter. I had like this natural icy hot that I was gonna put on my knee the morning before. I put on the like compression sleeve on my knee. Mm-hmm. So that was just kind of to make sure, because I had gone on a 2-mile run a couple days before just to see how my knee was holding up, and I think I got like 0.8 miles in. Okay. And my knee was killing me. Yeah. So, and that was without the compression sleeve. So I was like, let me definitely wear this during the race. Huge help too. So I'm happy I wore that. But just getting all that stuff together, getting the bag of Cheerios, getting a couple extra waters. When I ran the half, I got really bad stomach cramps, and that was because I was really dehydrated. So I started during the training taking liquid IV the night before a run, and like half a bottle before the run, and completely alleviated all cramping. So I made the bottles of liquid IV. For one of those bottles, put in some like collagen peptides for like a little bit of extra protein, and it helps with skin and nails and hair. So I got all of that stuff ready, and that was done at like 11 in the morning. So the rest of the day I felt like I was just waiting.
So it's just prep work. You get that done. Then it's just a waiting game. Morning of, you wake up at what time? The day of the marathon.
So daylight savings was that morning. So I think I woke up at 6 because we have a bunch of people from my town who run in the marathon. And so one of the main runners, she sets up a bus every year to bus our runners into pretty much the start line. Okay. So the bus left promptly at 7. So I woke up at 6 because everything was already ready. So
what time did you go to bed though? Like 9?
I mean, I went to bed early. I didn't fall asleep until late because the anxiety just
keeps you up. You're tossing and turning.
I was so nervous. Like I've had pretty bad experiences with daylight savings in the past where like my alarms just won't go off, and that's happened to a few other people I know. So I don't know if it's just you turn it off in your sleep, or if the time change really does screw with things. So I was very nervous I was going to sleep through my alarms. That was like my biggest concern. And my mom was the one to be like, don't worry, like there's 2 other people in this house, we will wake you up, you will be okay, just try and relax. So even though, like I said earlier, my mom was kind of doubtful that I would finish, like she was still fully supportive 100% of the time.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So you wake up at 6, you get bussed in. Now you're in the pavilion. You said where it's like you're kind of watching all the runners go in that live feed that's in that TV, and then your wave is up at 11.
I'll take a little more.
What time did you actually get to your like the start line? I would say.
I think, so we.
Like 10:30? Or are you just waiting at the start line for like 30 minutes before you actually take off?
No, so the corral closed at 10:40.
Okay.
So then you have to take the walk from the corral to the start line, and that's a decent distance away, because the pavilions are huge. You have 50,000 people running this marathon.
Yeah. Wait, where's the start line?
Right at the kind of the mouth of the Verrazano Bridge. So we're in Staten Island.
What?
Yeah.
What? I thought this whole time that the marathon started in like Central Park.
It ends in Central Park.
So
we start in Staten Island.
All right. So I saw that you posted on Instagram, obviously, right? Like,
yeah.
And it said, you said something about like the 5 boroughs, and I'm like, oh, I guess you run through the 5 boroughs. But it just hit me that fucking one of the boroughs is an island. So you run
over 5 bridges.
So you run over the Verrazano into Brooklyn, then through Brooklyn, through the Brooklyn Bridge? Or
I don't even remember. Was
it the beige one with the wood?
Half of the time I was running, I was trying to figure out what borough I was in because I didn't realize just how freaking long Brooklyn was.
Yeah, Brooklyn's huge.
So I thought after a certain point, I see signs for Williamsburg. I was like, okay. And then I was trying to listen to other people, trying to see. So, like, for example, we start in Staten Island. We're in Staten Island for like a hot minute. Mm-hmm. We literally just go over the bridge and then boom, we're in Brooklyn. So we see signs that these 2 people had, and it was like, why are you leaving Staten Island? Pete Davidson lives here. Okay. So it was kind of funny. So okay, I was just in Staten Island. Then you see a lot of signs just as you cross the bridge saying, welcome to Brooklyn. Like a whole bunch of party kind of music is going on. It's a lot of fun. And then you stop seeing those welcome to Brooklyn signs and you're running for a good bit of time. And you're kind of like, am I still in Brooklyn?
Yeah, Brooklyn's huge.
Yeah, because I'm horrible at geography. Horrible. Like in any circumstance, horrible. Yeah. So I just couldn't figure out where I was half the time. And so I overheard these 2 women talking because one of the women asked the other, like, where are we? What borough are we in? And so the woman was explaining, like, oh, we're in Brooklyn. We're about to enter Queens. Like, you see that bridge right over there. Then we're going to be in Queens. And I was like, awesome. Shout out to you. Didn't even know.
So you go... Okay, so I'm going to go and chart this out, like, because I actually haven't looked at a map. So you start in Staten Island, go up Brooklyn, into Queens, then I would imagine you go into the Bronx. Then loop back down.
Oh, no. You do...
Because if you end in Central Park, where's
so I think you go from Queens into Manhattan. Yeah, you go into Manhattan.
Then up into the Bronx?
Then up into the Bronx. Then you come back down through Harlem, and then you go...
Into Central Park.
Jesus, so you technically enter Manhattan twice.
That's disgusting, yo. Driving that takes, without traffic, a hefty fucking, like, probably 2 hours. Y'all motherfuckers are running this shit. I cannot believe that shit is the case. Okay, so it's the morning of, when you go and you take off, is there a gun or they just say, like, go?
It's a cannon.
It's a cannon?
It's a cannon.
So it's, like, fucking loud.
Well, yeah.
So then you go, you start. Was your family, the crowd of supporters, Mike, your friends? I think, was Karen there?
Karen, Susie, Carlos, my cousins. My cousins came out from Ireland because one of them ran it as well.
That's good. That's a good support group, man. That's awesome.
It was a huge group. It was fantastic.
So then were they in Staten Island cheering you on from the get-go?
No. No one was in Staten Island. They were at mile 17, which was on First Ave in Manhattan.
So you had to run 17 miles before you saw them.
But it was kind of nice because, come mile 12, 13, I'm like, only 4 more miles till I see him. Only 4 more miles till I see him. I just got to keep going and then I'll see him. Okay,
so when you're running, what's like... First, I'll ask, did you have headphones? Were you listening to music?
I had headphones. I didn't listen to music a majority of the time. the people were just, especially because it was so warm, so kind of sucked for the runners. It wasn't ideal, but it was great for the spectators. So many people came out because it was such a beautiful day.
So you heard like a lot. So you were trying to take all of it in. So you weren't listening to music.
Yeah, because also they were screaming so loud, and especially so if I had my name on my shirt, and a lot of people do this, they highly recommend that you put your name on your shirt, because especially if you're running along the edges, people will just scream your name. Like it's just a little added. Like,
that's fucking cool.
Come on, Kelly, you can do it. Like keep going. And that's it's so
cool.
nice.
Yeah, that's cool. That's dope. That's actually really cool that like strangers are cheering you on because they know it's like a monumental like feat. Yeah. And so you're running. There's
people
you
don't know are just cheering you on. It's fantastic.
Is anyone talking in the actual runners like while they're not like, oh, like I need to stop or something, like actually like conversation? Because you know, like the people who are have crazy endurance for whatever reason. I've seen like videos. These motherfuckers are running and they're like, without losing their breath, they're just oh yeah, blah blah blah. Like they're holding conversation.
It's Ashton Kutcher ran it this year, and
he was in the marathon.
He was in the marathon. He had an entire Peloton series of him running on the treadmill and having like guest celebrities come on, and they're having full blown conversations running on the treadmill.
What wave was he in?
Oh, I have no idea.
You didn't see him, did you?
I didn't see him.
Damn, man, that would have been fucking sick.
Mike saw him.
Running the marathon.
Yeah, because he had like a white hat. He was kind of easy to point out.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure Ashton Kutcher is like pretty fucking tall. Like I think he's like
I think he is tall.
Like 6'3" or something. So, or maybe 6'4", maybe even 6'5". I know that he's tall. So he must be like a string bean just sprinting down the goddamn like the route or route. Do you say route or route? On a side note,
I say route.
Okay, I don't know what the proper pronunciation is, but I just want to make sure I'm whatever it is.
Well, because then I think of like router. Like that's a router.
Oh, like a Wi-Fi router?
But then a route is like a
path.
A path.
Okay. So you're running mile 17. I would say if you had to break the race up into like 5-mile chunks. I know it doesn't break up evenly, but just deal with that question. Yeah. What was like the hardest?
It kind of does, because you have to kind of strategically take your gels or your gummies.
Oh yeah, so what is that shit? That's just like energy gels?
Just energy.
'Cause
a little bit of carbs, a little bit of sugar. Not too much sugar. Does it taste good? I mean, it depends the kind of brand. So, like, I've seen people who take, like, the goos, which are really popular. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there was a guy on the bus who, because there was about 20 of us on the bus coming into Staten Island. And he was saying he had the Gatorade gummies. He said he had started with the goos, and for his first race, he was taking it, and he almost vomited.
Because they were nasty?
Because they were nasty. Like, they're not ideal.
So, Gatorade's better? What did you have?
For him? So I don't even know the specific brand. There's a store over in either Rivervale or Northvale.
The runner's
spot?
House.
Yeah, okay. Runner's house. They have the little jelly beans, and so I got like orange, and I tried all of the different flavors during my training to see if any of them upset my stomach or anything like that. So I knew which ones worked best for me. So it was orange, cherry, and then like mixed berry, like mixed fruit. So I took those roughly every 5 miles until like I'd say mile 15. And then I just like wasn't feeling them anymore. So I just stopped taking. Yeah, I just stopped
for
taking
10 miles.
Yeah.
11.2 miles actually. Fucking crazy. So what is the hardest chunk if you had to break the race up into like 5-mile chunks?
The hardest by far was miles 18 to like 22.
That is so
by far
discouraging to hear.
Well, they
I would have thought you would have said the first couple because it's like you're getting started.
No, Manhattan.
But it's the last one.
The New York City Marathon is notorious for having the hardest back 10 miles.
Why is
that? They
say
the 16.
You mean geographically?
It's a lot of uphills in the back half. A lot of up because First Ave, it's kind of a steady incline going all the way up. Then you got the two bridges. The bridges are brutal. The bridges are one of the worst parts because there's barely any spectators on the bridges. That's the only time where I really put my music in, because you're going uphill. It's the bridges have a steeper incline, and then you finally get to the top and you get to go down a little bit. But Fifth Ave is also slightly on an incline. You are going through Central Park, and that's a bit of a downhill. But once you're turning to get back to the finish line, again uphill, like there's a lot of sneaky uphills.
And it's not like, yeah, so sneaky, meaning like you don't see it, but it's like you feel it because it's very gradual.
Because there's so many people around you. If you were running on you could see the incline.
Okay.
But there's so many people, you're not really focused on looking that far ahead.
Okay.
You're just kind of enjoying the people who are
Atmosphere
around
and stuff like
and
that.
the fans on the side.
Did you see anyone eat shit while you were running?
What?
Like did you see anyone fall and like eat shit while you were running?
No.
I'm surprised.
I did see I kind of at one of the bridges, I ran upon a guy who had just collapsed. So there was a lot of commotion, you know, he was right by you know, New York Roadrunners have a whole lot of professional photographers to take our pictures. So he kind of fell right by the photographer.
Someone definitely got a picture of him like mid-fall.
Probably.
I don't mean to no, that's fucking hilarious. Even if I was the person who collapsed, I would still think that's funny as shit. Like mid-fall, you just fucking pass out. Sorry, you black out, and as you're falling, someone just snaps the perfectly timed picture of you, like eyes in the back of your head, just fucking about it, just face plant and eat shit.
I think it depends if you finish the race. If you finish, like if he was able to get back up and he was okay.
That's a good point.
And you finish, then you can look back and laugh. But if you see that, then you're like, damn it. Like, now I have to do it again to finish. Yeah.
I would not do it again. Well, no, I wouldn't do it again. I don't know what it's like to be in that shape. So maybe, I don't know, whatever. So you run the race. You complete it. Worst miles is the back. If you had to break it up, it would be 18 to 22, you said, right?
Because
18 to 24, 23.
I saw my family and friends at mile 17, and I saw them again at mile 24.
Okay. So that I guess, intermission between seeing your supporters, your specific group of supporters, was the hardest chunk to do. Then you finish. What's the easiest? Is it the last mile or the first mile?
So I think that would be different for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Once I saw my family at mile 24, I got that second wind. I felt so grateful.
I just got chills hearing you say that. That's fucking dope.
I felt so grateful. It was such, the end was near.
Uh-huh. You're right there.
Which was so surprising because when I was still running and I saw a lot of people starting to walk. I was like, we're so close.
Yeah, just push through.
Just finish it. And again, I kept a lot on reserve at that point because I was very nervous about my knee. I wasn't trying to hurt myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I had stuff left in the tank.
Uh-huh.
So once I saw them, I was like, let me just frickin' finish this.
Dig deep. Just push through.
Just finish.
So you get through, you cross the finish line is like that big fucking banner, right?
Yeah, the big banner, yeah.
Did you so after you finished, I'm an emotional ass person, you know this. I'm asking this question because I almost feel if I was in your position, I think I would cry right after finishing because it's so crazy.
Yeah. So
did you feel like a overwhelming rush of emotions, or were you just kind of did it get blocked out? What was your headspace like?
I felt that rush of emotion frequently during the race.
Okay.
Especially seeing my family, especially seeing my friends.
Uh-huh.
Mile 24, I felt like I could just break down.
That is really interesting. Okay. So not upon completion, but when you saw your loved ones cheering you on.
Because I was talking about it with my friends who had been there, and they were they asked me the exact same question. They were like, did you get emotional? And I told this to my mom too. I was like, I of course I know this is an accomplishment, but on that day I felt more loved than accomplished.
See, now I feel extra fucking bad for not being there, and that's Hannah. That's because of you. But that's for another day. And no, I said I was gonna be there.
But it's not about who's not there, it's about who is there. And the support system, they had signs and they had fat heads and they
yeah, I saw it. They had the printed cutout of your head, and they were it
was fantastic. I have the videos, and you could just see especially my mom is what killed me.
We're gonna put those, if you could send me, the videos are up right now playing for the audience so they could see kind of the momentous occasion. Who's the first person after you cross the finish line that you rejoiced and you hugged them? Or
I hugged Mike first. So the finish line is tricky,
beautiful, because
you cross the finish line, and then they make you walk for 12 blocks.
What the fuck's up with that? They did the same shit at the Brooklyn Half Marathon, and I was like, this is so stupid. You just finished running like an absurd amount of like miles, and then you're just all right. You're just gonna have to like walk like another half mile.
So I was at that point. I was feeling it. So because I really pushed through the last 2 miles, and so it's funny because in your head you see the signs. You know, they give you your markers, and I saw the sign that it was 35 kilometers. Like that's where we're at, and so I know a marathon is roughly 42, and so I was like a 5K. That's it. It's a 5K.
Okay.
I can do a 5K. Like 3.2 I got it. Like I can do a 5K.
This is light. It's in the bag. Just get it through. Yeah.
And then I finished. And then I had to freaking walk. I was like, this is horrible.
So it's not a 5K.
I was like, they lied. They absolutely lied.
That is crazy. So you walk, and it's like after you walk the 12 blocks, you said that's when you get to see the people that came to cheer you on?
Yeah, because during the 12 blocks, they have, they put the medal on you. They don't just hand it to you. They put it around your neck. They give you a recovery bag that has Gatorade, water, pretzels. Okay. They have apples out. They probably had bananas earlier, but I took too long, so they had apples, but I took an apple. It was fantastic.
It was the most delicious apple you probably had in your fucking life.
The pretzels, fantastic. Nothing ever tasted better. So then you take the recovery bag. They give you the ponchos because normally it's freezing. It's November. It's supposed to be cold.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so when you're sweating and now it's cold, like people get freezing after these races. So they give us the ponchos.
But it's 70 degrees.
But it's 70 degrees. So I just rolled it up. Yeah, I just rolled it up, put it in my recovery bag. And then as you're walking, you pass a couple medical tents just in case you need medical attention. So I saw a couple people on the stretchers, and I'm like, my goodness.
Jesus, fuck.
Yeah, like it kind of gets scary that like...
Yeah. I mean, again, it's no easy feat. That just goes to show how serious this shit is.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take this type of stuff lightly. So you finish, you get all the way to after the 12 blocks, and then you see them. So you didn't cry when you saw your supporters.
I tried to hold it together.
But you could have.
Easily.
That is so... Okay,
even reflecting on it, if I just think about it for too long, I could probably cry.
That is so interesting because... Okay, so this is where you and I differ, right? When I feel like... It's weird. When I think about tears of joy, obviously crying out of sadness is like not... It's never good. But when I think about like an overwhelming rush of emotions, I think I get this from my fucking uncle. Shout out Theo if you're watching this, because I'm literally going to say what he says. I try to zero in on that feeling. Yeah. And then experience that, because it's like that's what makes life like so rich and beautiful. Yeah. And it's interesting that like, or that's my perspective on it. That's interesting that you were like, oh, like I'm gonna hold back from it. Probably also has to do with like you're a bunch of like around a bunch of people. Yeah. Like I'm saying this in the like right now in this headspace, I'm in the privacy of my own home. Yeah. But I would imagine like you're surrounded by thousands of strangers. Yeah. You probably don't want to just break down, so you held it in.
Well, you
didn't even tear up a little bit?
The thing, you can still experience, like, I still felt that full rush of emotion. I just didn't showcase it. Okay. So it's kind of that tough exterior, but a little sensitive on the inside. It's the same exact, I still feel it all. Yeah. I just don't let anyone else know. Because
you just process it differently, probably, yeah.
It's not, I don't even think it's processing. It's just a matter of, like, they're my emotions. Like, it doesn't affect anyone else if I cry. I don't need them to know kind of what I'm feeling. I can just feel it.
I disagree with you on that. I think if you were to cry...
strangers, no.
Yeah, but who the fuck cares about them bitches? But I think if you were to cry, I think the other people that... I'll say, I know for a fact if I was there and I was like I should have been, Hannah.
Okay,
very
stop.
Bad. Yeah, so okay, yeah, so but if I was there, right? And I were to see you start like crying, I think I would be like, oh shit. Like I would be like, it would hit me. Yeah. I know for a fact Mike would cry. Cause it's like when you see someone that you love so dearly, like Mike loves you to the end of the world and back, right? And he sees you complete that, and then you see him like, or he sees you experience that emotion. There's no fucking way that my boy would hold it in. I know for a fact he would, cause it's like I don't know, like, I think I disagree with you on that notion. I think if you were to express that emotion, not saying you should, I'm just saying if you were to, it would fucking impact the people around you.
But again, it's like if I had just crossed the finish line and I see my loved ones 5 feet away and I could just run into their arms, then I could see myself breaking down.
But
I had 12 blocks. I'm in pain. I'm just trying to fit. It's dark. I'm hungry.
Who's the person in charge of this? They gotta fix this shit ASAP, yo.
So at that point, it's like there's a lot, and especially, you know, everyone at that point is trying to find their family.
Oh, so it's like a frenzy.
It's just kind of like,
I gotcha.
Where is everyone? Like, there's a lot of cops around. You can't see because, again, daylight saving. So now it's dark at 5 p.m. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Whereas if they were clear cut at the finish line, then I think I would have cried.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think I would have let it out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because actually, when we were watching you run like the Brooklyn half marathon, that was the same case where it's like, I remember Mike was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to find where the fuck you were after it finished.
It was a mess.
It was crazy.
My phone was dead. His phone was on 6%.
It was crazy.
The service, because we ended in Prospect Park, everyone finishes there, so the service was horrible.
The bandwidth was reduced. Yeah,
it was horrible. I was going up to people. First of all, I was trying to listen to see who's speaking English, because I see a whole group of people, they're on their phones, and I'm like, great, they're speaking Spanish. So I'm like, not gonna work. So I'm looking around to try and see who's on their phone. No one's on their phone because again, service is horrible. It's not working. So I leave the park just to see if there's something else I can do, and I see a guy on the phone. And he's speaking English. So I'm like, got it. Target locked on.
You're my guy.
So I kind of awkwardly waited for him to finish talking. And so then I walked up and I asked him, I was like, hey, can I borrow your phone? And he was like, oh yeah, but just a heads up, service is really bad. So it might not work. And I was like, trust me, I know, but this is the only option I have right now.
Yeah, it's a long shot, but this is it.
So then I was able to call Mike and I've never been to Brooklyn before that. So trying to explain where I am, I was like, I'm next to a lake. There's see a house. We're in a park. So trying to explain where I am so that he can get to me was an absolute mess.
Yeah, I remember that day was fun. And then afterwards, you know what the fucked up thing is too? I forgot who. I think it was Miguel and Mike drove in one car, and then me and Hannah. Me and Vishal drove in on a separate car.
Yeah.
The fucked up thing was that Kelly, after running the 13.1 miles, she had to then walk a fucking long ass distance because we parked so far from the finish line. So after walking around a bunch, you were just like, my legs are hurting so bad, guys. And we had to walk
Well, no, that was the stomach cramping. That was the dehydration. Oh,
that's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was.
I was bending over in pain because I was just, my intestines were literally convulsing on the inside.
Yeah.
So, and I literally, we were walking and I kind of pulled Mike to the back and I was like, I need to just sit for a second.
She's a tough cookie too.
So I was sitting and you came over and you could tell. Because I like you said, I'm kind of a tough cookie. I don't like to show when I'm in pain or when I'm
She's very tough.
So
and then she was just you were literally just quiet and you were just this.
I was just trying so hard to just wait for it to pass. And you're like, how about we go get the car and you stay here and we'll come get you? I was like, bless your soul. Thank you.
Because that was just, it was I can't even imagine after running that much. Now, then now you just got to walk a calm, 8, 12, 13, 14 blocks. Just hold it together. It's no, bitch. I just ran a fuck ton of miles. Let me fucking relax. Just go get the car. I would expect to be wheelchaired at that point.
That's funny.
I would be the biggest diva. But you were just holding it together and being a trooper. We got the car and then we went.
Once we got pizza, once we got to the restaurant, and I
forgot we got pizza after that. Yeah.
I was able to drink some water. I was able to get some stuff out of my system. I felt so much better, and then we just walked around Brooklyn.
Yeah,
it was just nice.
That was crazy, actually, dude. You do this. You actually do this thing where you hold it together a lot, hangout sessions when it's really late at night. We were just talking about this before the podcast, we started recording. She's now become a little bit of a morning person, so now it's literally last night, me, Mike, Hannah. Well, she's obviously there too. We're all talking, but I always feel bad because I'll look at Mike wide awake. Hannah yesterday, she was kind of tired, but that's because she didn't really sleep well the night before because we were doing the whole apartment hunting thing. And then I look over at you and you're like, hold it. And I don't know how you do this thing. You just keep pushing the fucking boundary. You just keep chugging along. And it was,
that's primarily crazy. FOMO. I get severe FOMO.
I love that though, because people who get FOMO, they're down with the shits. So it's because I get FOMO too, but then I think I get it to so much of like a high degree that instead of just being like, I'm going to be present for these types of events, I'm like, this is really bad. But this is kind of like why I'm like, let's smoke, let's drink. Because it's like, I'm trying to make memories.
Yeah.
And kind of compact it as much as I can, every opportunity I can.
Okay.
I don't know, it's weird. So back to the marathon thing, right? The marathon, you finish it, you hug, you rejoice. What is the part of your body that it's like? So it's not stomach cramps at this point.
No, my stomach was all good.
Was it just your left knee, or like what part of your body was like? It was fuck this.
Honestly, it was everything, because again, since my left knee was hurting, I was overcompensating with my right side. So my right calf, my right hamstring, like they were really hurt.
Hip flexors too, probably?
like what?
Hip flexors too, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, definitely. But I literally felt like I had like a 12-pack at that. My abs were on freaking fire.
That's weird that your core feels it when you're running.
Because you're picking up your legs the whole time.
Mike was explaining this too in track when he was sprinting, that his core would cramp up, because it's like, I guess you are like contracting your core like this to try to bring your leg. Yeah, because you're picking your legs
up every time.
But you don't even notice it.
No, it wasn't until I finished that I was like, ooh, my abs hurt.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
And then it was my back too, because again, you're like standing upright, pulling yourself along,
and then your back's just doing this.
You're doing all the
compression.
Race. Yeah, so
that's
my
crazy.
back was, so everything was just sore. Like nothing was in excruciating pain. What was killing me? Because again, at this point, I had just done a nice little cool down walk, which wasn't as nice as I'm making it sound, but it was still a cool down. You know, we're walking now because again, we end on the west side. All of my family is over on the east side, so I had to walk from the west side to the east side.
In Central Park, you're saying?
Yeah, roughly around Central Park, because we had to come out of the park. So we come out at like weird. On
60th Street, 59th.
No.
The bottom of it? The bottom of Central Park?
No, because I think the finish line is at 60th Street. So then we walk up to like 78th.
Or 72nd?
I think 78th.
Where the through pass is in Central Park?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I came out, and so we met my family at like, I think 76 on Columbus Ave.
That is...
So then we walked over to 84th Street on Lex on the east side.
That is far.
Yeah.
From 70, well, you said 74th from Columbus. To put this into perspective for anyone who's not from New York, you're basically walking. That's definitely over half a mile. You're just walking the whole width of Manhattan, because you're getting from one end all the way to the other in terms of avenues. So you walked all across over Central Park.
Yeah.
Then some avenues after that.
Yeah.
Which the blocks from avenue to avenue is longer than a block from like going like
up or down. Yeah.
Up or down.
Yeah.
That's insane. So you meet them finally at Lexington in 76, you said, or 74th?
No, I left on 76. Then we went to 84th.
So you walked up and across.
Yeah.
And you met them there, and then So what were you saying?
So my family friend owns a bar there. So we ended up at the Carlo East, which is Mike worked there for a summer.
Okay, yeah.
So we went there. At that point, they had like a little banner up. It was really cute.
With your name?
Yeah, they had like my picture, and it said like "Congrats, Kelly."
That's sick.
Which was really nice, and it was like my aunt, my uncle who had ran it, the bar owner who's a really good family friend of mine, and his daughter, and it's right next to like a pizza place. So we went, we said hi to everyone, we sat for a second, and then I turned to Mike. I was like, "Can you buy me pizza?"
So your first meal
back. Yeah, it was pizza. Yeah.
And coincidentally, on the half marathon was also pizza. Yep. So that seems to be the long-standing tradition. If I ever, for whatever fucking weird reason, run a marathon, I'll be sure to eat pizza.
Okay, good.
To keep this whole thing going. Yeah. But that's oh my gosh, that's insane. I cannot believe... I think we've covered basically all the questions I've had. This has been an amazing episode. For what it's worth, I'm very proud of you.
Thanks.
And I'm very sad that I couldn't be there that day. You could probably tell from the multiple times that I fucking mentioned it. But cheers to you.
Thanks.
Do me a favor and show off your medal for the people right now, for the 2 people watching. The fact that she fucking completed this insane accomplishment. That is actually a really beautiful medal. Can I see that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So that's the Statue of Liberty. What's TCS? Do you know?
That's just a sponsor of the marathon.
Okay, so 2022 New York City Marathon. That is fucking sick. So get a look at that, people. That is beautiful. Nice and shiny.
I'll probably do another one.
Are you fucking serious?
I think so. Yeah, you can get it engraved.
Are you gonna get it engraved? You gotta get it engraved.
I wouldn't put my time. Well, maybe, because again, the whole reason why I think I would do another one was
Track
because
your time.
Yeah, like I think I was looking at this as like a starting point.
This I cannot believe, like, for some stupid reason, listening to you to like go over your experience, I'm like, I want to kind of do a marathon, but not because I don't think I'd be good at it. Obviously, like my time would be like 8 hours. It's not about being
good; it's about the experience.
Yeah, but it's like.
Well, that's why they say like when you watch the marathon, like it's very inspiring.
Yeah, because it's just like you're overcoming in something so insane.
Yeah.
So this is awesome.
Thanks.
This is amazing. You should be so proud of yourself. Do me a favor, like wear this around your neck for the end of the episode. Do you know the tradition for the end of the episode or not really?
No.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is I always just say like an outro or whatever, and then when I say like, here's the outro music, you just snap with me and then point up.
Oh, I can't snap.
What do you mean you can't snap?
I snap really badly.
Just snap. Yeah, that's fine. Just then go like that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Kelly, thank you so much for coming on. Cheers. Congratulations.
Cheers. Thanks.
And thank you for going through your experience for running the New York City 2022 Marathon. Next time when you come back on, well, you can come back on as much as you want, but I'm saying we're going to have you on whenever you run the next one.
Okay.
And you kill the fucking time that you had this time.
Sounds good.
So congrats. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, second time. I got to take 2 sips. There we go. All right. Thank you for coming on. I'll link to your Instagram and all that stuff below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for the next episode. Till next time, we're out. Here's the outro music.
Okay.
There we go. All right. Peace, y'all.
Bye.